All right, we're live. I haven't actually caught and cleaned and eaten fish in quite some time, Peter. Is that something that you like to do? Like, even when I crappie fish, I normally give them away or keep them for bait, or I don't even do that anymore. Are you still keep crappie and clean them and eat them?
But of course, absolutely. I have as far as crappie, I have a favorite time, a favorite time of year I like to do that, and this is not it. Um, like
Yeah,
anything else, certain times of the year prefer a certain type of fish. Now it's all saltwater stuff, obviously. But
I shoot
if I'm
docks for
going to keep,
crappie. It seems like winter time's the best time to shoot docks.
absolutely, yeah. But
Late
if I'm going,
fall, early winter.
yeah, if I'm going to keep a crappie, it's going to be in that time when they're nice and fat and not lean, in the summer months. Personally,
Yeah. Now, as far as like the season, like when the do you think that fish tend to have more bacteria and stuff in like the hotter months versus the cooler months? You think it would be better to eat fish in the cooler months, or
you
do you
would
think that
think
matters?
so. Yes. I'm actually picky when it comes to the taste of my fish. I have several different things I do, which we'll talk about here later on. But hands down, for sure, fish that come out of the cooler weather by far taste far better than what you get this time of year. And yeah, it might be bacteria, it might be fat content, which I'm kind of leaning more so towards as well. But yeah,
Yeah, as far as the taste, it's probably the fat content,
yeah,
maybe. But yeah, I know that the summertime it does. Common sense tells me that there would be more bacteria in the hotter water.
yeah. Certain lakes worse than others too. I mean, I can actually taste which lake a fish came from. Like I know that sounds kind of stupid, but there are some fish that I personally won't keep for myself from certain lakes, and others that I will.
I mean, I can tell the difference in bananas, like a dole versus a chiquita. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
doubt
can do
that.
that too. Absolutely.
So yeah, a lot of guys. I know a friend of mine. He's constantly talking about, man, we need to go. It's time to stock my freezer up. Like, dude, I'm not the guy. I'm not that guy. But
Every fisherman has those friends. Man, when are you gonna bring me some fish? You know how
yeah,
it goes.
yeah,
Um,
meat fisherman.
yep. So obviously I catch a lot of fish in the wintertime, and I keep a lot of fish. I make trips to Lake Watery and catch my 10 fish limit. And I will say that
Talking
I
about
will,
striper.
yes,
Mm.
I will not eat personally any fish that comes from watery. They just taste like crap to me. They do, hands
They,
down. So,
they, 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 it's weird from lake to reservoir on the Catawba chain. You can just about look at the striper and tell which reservoir it came from.
uh-huh.
Like
Yeah,
the,
absolutely.
the the watery stripers, they have a different color. They have a unique like size to them.
They look
Like
like
and
footballs, like legit footballs.
yeah, but they're not hybrids. They're stripers, but
Yeah.
they're almost shaped like a hybrid. It's like they're stunted or something.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it's the lake, the demographic or the geography of the lake that's making them like that, or if are they stocking certain strains in certain
Yeah.
reservoirs.
I think it's more of a strain thing because I know I talked to someone some time ago and they said they had like several different strains of stripers, like Roanoke strain, this, that. I'm making stuff up here, but I heard they can actually get technical, and one strain's more hardier in warmer water, another strain's more hardier in colder water, another one grows faster, and another one's more less prone to bacteria, all sorts of stuff.
I
So
don't doubt that. I mean, if they have the technology and they've had it for quite some time to hybridize these fish, they're creating these fish in a lab, half white bass, half striper, male white bass, female striper, and
yeah,
they're able to create, millions of fingerlings of these hybridizations of these fish. Then yeah, surely they have the technology to do that as well. But so what are your favorite fish to eat? Freshwater, not saltwater. Freshwater.
freshwater. You can't go wrong with a white perch and crappie, no doubt.
I tend to lean more toward the white perch than the crappie. I mean, I'm a very it's very rare. You don't find many people that would prefer white perch over crappie, but I'm
Uh-huh.
definitely one of those. I mean, they're in the striper family. They're in that maroon family. They have that thick, tender. It's not really flaky. It's kind of a dense meat like a striper does.
Yeah,
And the crappie tend to be like a softer, flakier meat.
Uh-huh.
I like the white perch.
They are good for sure, But a lot of times, like you got to catch 3 small ones for one decent one worthwhile to keep and fillet.
Yeah, if you can catch them at the right time,
Yeah.
like in early spring, I call them magnum perch, but yeah, you can get on some of the larger ones. But yeah, as spring and turns into summer and summer starts to progress, it seems like those perch get smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So how do you like to cook your fish?
I have been big on grilling lately, grilling and blackening. As a matter of fact, I had my first fried fish just the other day at the beach there. Can't go wrong with fried flounder at all.
What are you fried in?
Just House Autry seafood butter, of course, and then
House Autry.
that's right, can't go wrong with that either. And then canola oil. But I have been big with grilling and blackening everything here I'd say last year or so. Certain fish grill better, obviously. Some blacken better. Like today, I had blackened grouper, and it was freaking amazing.
I love blackened. Yeah, it seems like I don't know. Is House Austria, is that just a southern thing?
I think so. Yeah, and I've tried several other types, but House Austria just keeps on doing it over and over.
Yeah, I like the House Autry. I'm particular to the House Autry chicken.
Are you?
The fried chicken one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
There's another breader that may absolutely rock your world here. It's actually a Bass Pro Shops brand.
I've seen it. I've never tried it. I know what you're talking about.
I highly recommend
I think it's in a black bag. Uncle Buck's.
It's actually in a little yellow canister. It's
yellow canister. Yeah.
Uncle Buck's Light and Crispy. By far, that is the best way of cooking crappie. No
really?
question.
I'll have to try it. Is it like a cornmeal based?
I think it's more. Yeah, I think it's mixing of that, flour, and whatever other secret ingredients they have.
Mm-hmm. I've tried the Zatarain's cornmeal base. It's pretty good.
Hmm.
I'll have to try that Uncle Buck's though.
Yep, it's worth it. I had like 3 canisters here at all times. Main time I actually use it in the springtime when I catch them. That time of year, and after that, I just don't care to keep crappie usually.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see the allure of going and trying to stock your freezer up with fish. I mean, you can go to a fish market and buy fish cheaper than you can go fishing for them and stock your freezer up with them.
You can. I keep my fair share of fish. There's no question that I'm not going to deny it at all. Variety, striper, hybrid, crappie, of course, all saltwater fish. Not going to name them all, but I'm a firm believer that the fish that you buy in these stores, i.e., not knocking your catfish, but your farm-raised catfish and tilapia and whatever else out there, I think that stuff it does a number on you as far as just it's not good for you. What I'm trying to say here. I can't see myself eating any fish that's pellet fed to grow faster to sell in the market.
Right. Yeah, I think if you were to go to a fish market, I don't know what kind of fish they sell at a fish market, maybe cod. Anyways, yeah, you're probably looking at least $5 a pound, $8 a pound.
Yeah. So I did take a picture of a board at the fish market before I left the beach today, which I'll be posting on Facebook eventually. Those prices there, they're not what they used to be. They're, you got to support your commercial fishermen, of course, gas prices, but sea bass, $22 a pound, Vermilion snapper, $17 a pound, triggerfish, $14 a pound. So it ain't cheap. It really ain't.
Yeah.
It pays to play, right?
Yeah. Let's see. I forgot to look at the comments here. Summer temps breed more. I can't pronounce that word. Heat exposure, skinny, sickly, coming off spawn, etc. Much prefer late fall, winter fish. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Joey? What's up, Wes? Pancake mix, pepper and shake, 2 of Old Bay. I also like to coat fish in yellow mustard before putting it in the breader. That's interesting.
I've done yellow mustard. That is legit. It's pretty good too. Yes.
Something that I started doing when I fried my fish is I would pat it dry. Especially if it's been frozen. I used to freeze my fish in water, and when I would thaw it out, the fillets would be wet. So I would always let them dry and pat them dry with paper towel before I put the the seasoning and the batter or the breader on them.
Yeah. Yeah. So care, especially with saltwater fish, taking care of your fish goes a long way with actually cooking it as well. Something we'll talk about here
Like
is
leave the drain plug out of your cooler.
exactly. Now I'm a stickler with how I care for my fish from the moment it's caught until it's filleted, until it's brought to the house, and so on and so forth. And give you step by step what I do. Obviously you want to bleed the fish if possible, like your mackerels, that kind of stuff. It's best to bleed them. No secret about that. Okay.
Blues.
Yeah, all that. I don't keep blues ever, but yeah, a lot of your mackerel type fish, you want to bleed those for sure. But where a lot of people go wrong is they leave fish in ice water. That is absolutely the worst thing to do. Let that melted ice, I guess, soften up the fish. It messes it up, in my opinion. Okay.
I think you wouldn't think that it would soften the fish up since it's ice water, since it's cold, but it still
But
does.
it's that tap water. It does something to that meat there. Prime example: leave a crappie, a couple crappie in the bottom of the cooler full of ice water. You see how yellow and nasty they turn in that water there. But the other thing that I am totally against, and I absolutely, my friends, they know that, hey, let Pete clean the fish, do his thing, we clean the boat, which is the best damn deal to do possibly there. But one thing that I do not do with my saltwater fish is spray them down before you put them in Ziploc bags. Fillet them, put them in bags, take care of that at the house, because you spray them down, now you're leaving them in that tap water in a Ziploc bag or ice water, whatever, and that also blands the meat some. So if you want to clean them, what I do is, I'll bring the fillets in the house, dirty with scales and blood and everything on them, and I'll actually fill my sink up with some salt, cold water, and then from there I'll actually kind of rinse them down, shake them around, and stir them up and clean them up, and then I'll pat them dry and either cook them or freeze them that way. The care for the fillet from the moment you catch it till you bring it to the house, it plays a big role in the finished product, in my opinion.
No soaking.
No soaking. Keep it as dry as possible up until the point you're going to freeze it or eat it. Yes.
Let's see.
Or marinate it.
Any of y'all like I can't pronounce that word, method? I believe my saltwater fish, but I see this method getting popular. You know what he's talking about there? Ikejime. Maybe I'll use the Ikejime. I'm gonna have to Google that. I don't know what that is.
If I'm not mistaken, is that like sticking something through their head to let them bleed? I guess I don't know, like they do it with tuna, maybe. If that's the case, I've never done it, but damn, Wes, it's the third time you asked that. You know damn well I'm taller than your midget ass. All right. Anyways,
it's a Japanese fish preparation method that paralyzes fish and drains them of blood. When done correctly, it not just preserves the fish's flavor and texture, but also allows the fish to develop an umami dimension when aged, whatever that means.
I've seen it. I've seen videos of it. I have not done it, but for me, it's as simple as cutting the tail or slashing or cutting the gill plate, the throat. It bleeds just as good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, cut them around the gill plate, stick them upside down in a 5-gallon bucket.
Yep.
Did Wes ask if he was a midget again?
For the third damn time in the last 10 minutes. He knows damn well I'm taller than his midget ass.
It's because you're way down here. He would have to hold his laptop up here, Wes. Yeah, it's basically a brain/spinal piercing. Interesting. Yeah, I have a book here, Striped Bass Fishing, and at the end of the book, they have a chapter on cooking. I thought about Mike Walker because they actually have a bunch of different recipes, and they have one called the Alabama Striper Delight. There you go, Mike. Pause that and make that. Put it on your cooking channel. So do you get all the red meat out of your stripers?
For me, the red meat does not bother me at all. I actually eat around it, or if I have someone that's picky, yes, I'll cut it out prior to cooking. But for me, I do it all. Filet, stripe of red meat and everything.
You leave it on. Do you eat it?
I do not eat it. No, I eat around it.
Eat around it.
Some folks, I hear that it bothers them to actually have it cooked with the actual fish itself. But for me, not at all.
I get the majority of it out. I'll get the main part of it out, and I might take my fillet knife and kind of shimmy across the fillet to get some more of it off. But I'm not so picky that I have to get every little bit of it off of there.
Yeah,
some people do.
Definitely, yeah. So, what is your favorite way of cooking striper, or your favorite catfish there?
I'm gonna have to be. My favorite way would be house altry, striper and crappie. I mean, I do like it blackened. I like throwing it on the grill, cedar plank and all that jazz. But you're just not gonna beat throwing it in some house altry and frying it up.
Uh-huh. One of my favorite ways of cooking striper was actually marinating it in Texas Pete hot sauce.
Oh, I never tried that.
And then pat it dry, and then bread it and fry it. It actually, shocking enough, does not come out as spicy as you think. It's more so vinegar based, And to me, Texas Pete's not spicy at all. Period. It's just more flavor than anything else. But it is amazing. It's pretty good.
I'll have to try that. I haven't eaten fish in so long. I just I didn't like cleaning fish with regular fillet knives. I got spoiled on electric fillet knives, and I got tired of buying them. I got to be honest with you. Electric fillet knife, they just don't last very long. You have to.
I have an El Cheapo American Angler. I think the brand is fillet knife. I keep it outside full time in the elements, knife and all. It still works 2 years later.
American Angler is they're better than the Mr. Twisters and the Rapalas. So, yeah, they tend to last a little longer than the they got the Bubbos now. I haven't tried those, but yeah, they just after you clean a Mr. Twister, I can tell from experience, aren't going to last through more than about 12 to 15 trophy sized stripers. we used to keep our trophy stripers back 10, 12 years ago when we caught them in the ocean. Yeah, we didn't throw those things back. We kept those bad boys. They'll tear a electric fillet knife up quick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Chad said they're sweet. What's sweet, Chad? North Carolina offshore fishermen are a bunch of pussies. Fishing on daddy's boat and mama's money.
He's mad at people made fun of him on a Facebook page, is all it is.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Let's see. The red meat is fishy and smells like fish shit. Yeah, that red meat is pretty bitter and fishy. I agree, Wes. Oh, yeah, the Bubba Blade. Yep, Bubba Blade. Dexter High Carbon, that is a bad knife. I've always wanted to try. I've got the Dexter High Carbon. Well, I've had one. I've always wanted to try the Victorinox fillet knife. That makes like the Swiss Army knives. They have a fillet knife that I've always wanted to try.
So I have tried many different brand fillet knives, not electric, but just straight blade. I literally own virtually every one out there that's below $100. The Dexter by far is the best, no question asked. I think the Bubba Blade is extremely overrated. It's good for like your very big bony type fish, but overall, it's
well, there's a new Bubba Blade fillet knife or electric fillet knife now.
Yeah, I have not tried the electric, but that's the actual straight knife, the large knife itself. I think it's more geared on someone advertising it versus
they are. Yeah,
you're I don't think it's that good.
You're buying a brand, that's for sure.
And that the Cuda blade, actually, it's a stainless steel knife. I think Walmart sells it $20, $25. Cuda handled. Shocking enough, I do like those knives a lot. They're pretty good.
They're good. I like their scissors too.
Yes.
They make those little tiny scissors. And you wouldn't think that they'd be any good, but my friend Ryan Spivey, That's all he uses to cut like the dorsal fins off of perch and stuff for bait.
Yeah.
I know they're made for like braid or whatever, but he uses
Uh-huh.
them to cut, to actually cut bait with. But yeah, those things are awesome, dude.
Yeah. Someone says something about Cutco. I actually own Cutco as well, and I'll rank those as a pretty decent knife. Likewise, pretty good. They're about
Cutco.
$100, and I actually own two of them, and they definitely have my seal of approval as well, for sure.
Mm. Yeah. Let's see. So you don't use an electric fillet knife. You actually use a
I
real
will
fillet.
use an electric knife only if I have a cooler full of crappie or hybrids, whatever else. But my saltwater fish, it's all straight blade, everything.
And do you ever freeze your fish?
Yes, absolutely. I have a commercial vacuum sealer at my house, which does amazing things. It's better than your typical ones you can buy in any store here, but definitely good price for it.
So you'd recommend
$700. Yeah, very good.
Wow. So you'd recommend vacuum sealing over like freezing in water and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I don't know if Abu makes the knife or not, Wes. They probably do, but it's probably a shelf knife with an Abu brand on it. It's probably not, they didn't actually buy the tooling and have the OEM make it. Well, so I think that's about it on eating fish. You want to talk about ambassadors or something? Zoom in.
Ambassadors.
Zoom in. There we go.
I hadn't really been following your chat about the ambassadors, seeing your haters talk about it, but
just the same post. Just the same. I make that same post like once a year, and it gets it's drama. I mean, it's just 50 comments every time I make that same post. I make the same post every year. I'm like, I'm about due for and I'm not in Facebook jail, but they have took my news feed and put it lower. They worded it. I can't remember how they worded it, but yeah, I'm still on that for like 17 more days. And even with that, I'm still getting 50 comments on that kind of stuff. People love to talk about reels. They get this banter, everybody is so one-sided.
You are absolutely. So I will say that when I started striper fishing way back when, late 90s, early 2000s, live baiting back then is how it started, like everyone else for the most part. I bought ambassadors, of course, right?
Right.
I think I had the same reels, and they still work very well. So they're a good reel.
I think a lot of your people that are saying, well, I broke the reel seat off of it, or you better have you some extra worm gears, or you better have some extra paws, or you better, all these guys, those are probably reels that come from a meth head down the street that stole them from a guy that bought them at a pawn shop 27 years ago that sat in a pawn shop for 47 years, and they're probably from 1968.
Yeah.
That's what they're not understanding is these reels have been the same for 100 years. And like my friend is he's done bought like 17 reels in the past month off eBay, and they're all like from the 70s and 80s. And so he's going to have to like kind of go through them and oil them and, freshen them up and make sure things are in good condition before he goes, using them too much. So, but yeah, I mean, and that you're not going to find, you're not going to get on eBay and find a Shimano Corrado from 1982.
Yeah.
There's a reason why these reels are still here today. I mean, they may not be the best reels out there, but in my opinion, you're not going to find a reel that casts bait as well as they do, especially big bait.
I will say of all the reels I've owned in the past, and I can't even name all of them, there's one brand in particular that has not lasted me worth a shit.
What's that?
Quantum. I have not been able to have a quantum reel last me longer than a year at all.
Yeah. Well, I think Quantum is owned by Zebco. I think it's nothing but a fancy Zebco. It's like Honda and Acura. You have Zebco and then Quantum, and then above Quantum you have Finnor. And I think above Finnor you have Van Staal, but they're all the same company. But yeah, your quantum stuff is nothing but some. It's nothing but some fancied up Zebcos.
Yeah.
But now your upper end quantums, like your quantum cabos, well, you've said you've had bad experiences with them, but from my experience, they've been very robust
Have they?
reels. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's no matter how you use them, how you take care of them, all that stuff. Can't say I'm the best caretaker of my reels, but they go through hell and back sometimes.
Yeah. They have stainless steel machine cut gears in them. They're tanks.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Go
one
back
thing
here
that
to the questions. I see Scott wrote something about, so I freeze all them fish and throw them away. Fresh or throw them back. Scott, I'm telling you right now, of all the fish I've kept in the last 2 years, I can count how many bags I've thrown away on one hand. And I'd say all those bags I've thrown away have been king mackerel. That's it. So nothing goes to waste in my house ever. And that, if I can show you somehow how I vacuum sealed some fish earlier, the commercial vacuum sealer, it is freaking amazing. Like it, any local ones you buy in like Sam's Club or Walmart, it blows out the water. I mean, it is amazing. You can do venison, all sorts of meats. Bring burger out there, sucks it all dry.
Now, does it take a certain kind of bag, or is like
It does. It's a special bag made by that company. Correct.
Are they very expensive too?
They are pretty expensive, but they're reasonable. I mean, I get a 250 pack for like $25 maybe, so it's not bad.
Oh no, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Michael Walker, I just mentioned you a little bit ago. Had a Alabama recipe, striped bass recipe in my book here. Rewind it and look at it. Tell the North Carolina boys about trolling with reels as big as doghouse and a damn broomstick, and they brag like they're doing something.
Hey, at least them boys don't run 50 miles to catch a damn shark.
Yeah, Wes got you a Gosa. I think that the Gosa is your best value, man. I mean, I don't know about that. I'm sure that other reel. I think the other reel it ain't nothing but a Gosa with a metal body instead of a plastic. You need to put a drop of oil on that fan.
No, the laptop is clear for takeoff.
This sounds like it. Can you hear it?
Me? Oh yeah, I hear it.
Oh, you hear it? Okay.
Got my legs all warmed up too.
Yeah, that'll be good in the wintertime. That is money. Yeah. There's a lot of that, Wes. Well, we got that big tournament in November. Peter, you ought to come get in it on Lake Hartwell.
Well, that exact same day is a big tournament around here as well that I've been doing for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Unfortunately, the last few years, it's been hit and miss me work. It is a benefits tournament. It's on a High Rock every year. It's always the last Saturday of November, which is the day after Black Friday, right?
November 25th. Yeah.
This year, they're moving it to Baden Lake. So they're just now starting to talk about it, but it is being moved to Baden.
It's a crappie tournament?
No, striper.
Striper.
Yep.
Is there enough striper in Baden to have a striper tournament?
It's, absolutely. They're moving it on Baden on purpose because it seems the last several years is only, a lot of guys might laugh about this, but last several years been maybe a handful of fish brought in to the scales. I won it 2 years ago, and that year there were actually a lot of fish brought in. I missed it last year. So they're starting to get kind of furious at the lack of fish coming in, which is typical for High Rock. So they are giving Baden a try this year. Is it plentiful of fish? Yes, for sure. You can catch them any which way possible, upriver, down lake, back creeks. It's a pretty good lake, and they're starting to get pretty big out there. This most recent winter, I was catching some 10, 11, 12-pound fish out of there. So, yes.
On Baden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, they had the Striped Bass Challenge had a tournament on High Rock this year, didn't they?
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah, 2 winters ago.
Do you remember how much weight?
That's laughable. That's
I want
laughable.
to say it was like 7 pounds and something.
Yeah, 2 fish, and the only team that weighed in fish won it. That's it. Out of 100 people out there, I caught fish the 2 days before the tournament, and I mean I knew it was gonna be tough that year because that night a cold front came through and it snowed, and then the next morning clear skies, windy, high pressure, and I knew right away temperature 30s, it was not gonna happen. So.
Oh, Wes got him a Therese rod. Wow, got a Gosa on a Therese. I hear you, bro. Therese rod wasn't cheap.
All this damn fancy stuff he keeps on getting us start calling him a weekend warrior. That's what they do.
That's I always wanted a Therese rod. I always had to settle for the tsunamis. Yeah, that's awesome though. I have a Hoppers. I think it's a Hoppers jigging rod. It's a poor man's Therese. You got a Stella too? You didn't. Wes, did you really buy a Stella? You think you really got a Stella, Pete?
Knowing him, you know what? There's no telling. There's no telling at all.
Oh my God, I can't
Didn't
wait.
know it takes that much glue to catch a damn shark. I don't know.
Wow. Scott Perry posted a video earlier of a guy fishing from the beach getting spooled.
I did see that video, yeah.
I didn't watch the whole video, but it looked like he was going to get spooled like that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was a shark, but man, it was smoking the drag. It was dumping that reel.
You know, there's only one shark I know that will dump a line like that, and that is a hammerhead. That's the only shark that I can tell you will dump hundreds of yards like that. I'm no pro shark fisherman by no means, but that's the only one I've experienced where when he runs, he's gone.
He just keeps going.
Yeah.
You know, I've always heard the Makos do that, but
yeah, Makos, but you're not gonna catch on the surf. You know.
Right.
You know, Wes says tigers will too. Wes, have you ever caught a tiger shark?
I have, and I've never known a tiger to smoke like that.
They'll smoke it, they'll stop. They'll smoke it, they'll stop. It's more give or take with a tiger shark. Wes has been watching too much YouTube videos to say that.
Now the shark that smoked the most drag that I've ever been experienced was the big sandbar that Wes caught on that last trip. Man, that thing was smoking, and way more than because the fish that my cousin and I caught years ago, the big tiger, 1,000-pound tiger, it never smoked drag like that. It was, we just had to keep chasing him down, and it's almost like he didn't even know he was hooked.
Like a little steady run, right? It's a little steady, swinging off with it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I think they did say it was a tiger in that video, but I think he was speculating. I don't know if they even landed that fish in that video.
Yeah, no telling. I think, if I remember correctly, it said it's a tiger. No, it's probably a hammerhead, possibly tiger. No, we think they went back and forth with the hammerhead tiger idea. But
I think you might have an what's called an eidetic memory. Do you have an eidetic memory?
I do.
Do you really?
I think so. Yeah. I remember small details like numbers and stuff like that. Yes.
Yeah, you're like Sheldon on Big Bang Theory or something. What are you drinking tonight, Peter? What kind of IPA?
It is just a can of water. I drank too much last 4 straight days.
Canned water? You're drinking canned water?
It's seltzer water, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what those frou-frou people be drinking.
Yeah, freaking what do you call it? Aldi special, whatever.
Seltzer water. Wow.
I love it, yeah.
It's like carbonated water. So that's like the what's the green bottle that starts with a P?
I know what you're talking about. That does not taste good to me. Like that tastes
terrible.
Like that? No.
Okay. Buy a new fan. Oh, he's talking about your
laptop.
Fan. Yeah. Let's take that guy to the Best Buy. The Geek Squad, and get him to put a new fan in that thing.
Need a new battery and thing. So maybe we'll talk to him here soon.
So what kind of laptop you got there?
I have a Dell. I couldn't even tell you the details of it. It's not that old. It's like 3 years old, maybe. Yeah, that's probably old for someone that knows laptops, I guess, computers, but 3 years old. So it's lasting me that long.
That's right. Bougie. I've never seen that name before. Newel J Montgomery.
He's another weekend warrior that I know. I'm just kidding. We call him Newly, by the way.
Call him what?
Newly is his nickname.
Newly.
Okay. Yeah, he's a big time crappie fisherman.
You got a Dale, dude. That's an old commercial. Wasn't that a commercial? Wasn't that the Dale? The Dale guy got caught for smoking weed or something, didn't he?
I think so, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got the cat chasers coming up. You're going to be getting in a tournament on Baden.
Now, it's hard for me to commit to a tournament on that exact date because obviously my line of work, that's a very busy weekend.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been very hit and miss the last several years overall, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. It's $200, no rod limit. 4 p.m. at the Lake Hartwell Outdoor Center.
I like how that tournament you speak of there was live release.
Two fish weigh-in.
That's always great. And the tournament Lake Norman, back in February, I tried everything in my power to keep them alive, and I did. And I caught flack for having live beat up fish that swam off just fine. So, I mean, it's just two different worlds, whatever. But haters gonna have haters, right?
Oh yeah, you're always gonna have somebody. Oh, ain't no fun. Y'all crunk up about Abu and a Cape horn. Well, let's see. Let me send somebody an invite right fast here.
Do it.
Invite. I'm going to invite Brady Milford. Spell his name right. All right, I sent him an invite. He's not going to come on, though. Got any advice for August fishing out of the Chesapeake Bay? We're going out for cobia, but down to catch anything. We'll be there this coming weekend.
I don't know much about summertime Chesapeake Bay, so that is all you.
Yeah, hire Clint. Clint Lassard is he's been catching a lot of cobia lately. But yeah, I'm a definitely November, December, January, February Virginia Beach area fisherman myself. I've always wanted to target the tautog out there. Never have. Heard those were good eating.
Yeah, same here. So there's actually that off our coast too during this coldest of months, I guess, January, February. But no one really goes out there and targets them. So, I mean, they are caught. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, Keith, Wes and I went with Clint Lassard of Showing Up Sport Fishing. I think it was last year. It was around this time last year. And, man, we smoked them. We caught 14 giant cobia. And it was the funnest trip ever. We were climbing up in the crow's nest and casting to them, sight casting to them. And it was one hell of a trip.
Now, on that trip, were you guys actually in the bay per se, or do you go out in the ocean side?
No, we were in the bay. I don't think Clint ever really goes out in the ocean. I think all of his fishing is in the bay.
And when you say bay, are you talking about like out on the offshore side of the high rise, or more up the bay?
Both. Yeah, he goes up the bay and he'll fish the lower bay, but he stays in the bay. Which is weird to me because he's in a 35-foot Bertram. He's in a big, huge sport fisher that could, totally go out in the ocean if he wanted to, but he chooses to stay in the bay. I guess, he can catch fish in the bay year round. So what's the point in going in the ocean?
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of curious how the cobia fishermen out there do. I mean, out here, these fish never go in the rivers. They're more so in the mouth of the rivers, and then offshore, of course. I don't know.
I know. I guess the bay is so big. You know, once
So
you
big, I
know,
know it's their natural breeding ground per se too, but yeah.
exactly, yeah. And it was weird how he said that if you see one, or if you see, yeah, if you see one and then you see another one, if they see each other, they go down and you can't cast to them.
Uh-huh.
And I actually saw that happen a couple different times. It's actually pretty cool. It's like
Yeah.
they're just swimming around, just looking for a mate, and they're like, "Hey, hey!" They just both go down, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting. Nice. Someone asked if I fish king tournaments. Yes, I do fish all the king tournaments, but I don't get serious with them until the fall. U.S. Open being the first one. U.S. Open Fall Brawl. What's the other one? There's a third one there. All back to back to back weekends. Those are the ones I generally do. Not a fan of summer tournaments. Spring, summer, I hate them. I just can't stand it. There's too much work trying to find bait that time of year. Not to say you can't do it, but it's not my forte.
Well, back to the fish. When I used to eat a lot of fish, whenever I would fry my fish, I used to use this big pot, and I would cook them in the house, and I would get the grease hot. You know, I never really. I would just turn the grease on high, and I'd take a wooden spoon and put a wooden spoon in the grease, and when the wooden spoon got a bunch of bubbles on it, I knew that it was about ready. And then I would take a small piece of fish and drop in the grease, and as long as it started frying, I knew I was good, and I would just start adding fish. And what I like to use was this big round plastic spatula with, I guess it's not called a spatula, but anyways, it's this big round spoon with a bunch of holes in it.
Uh-huh.
And I would just kind of keep the fish moving, and I would fry them for about 10 minutes. I know some people say, you ain't got to fry them but 2 minutes, and they're, take them out. But I would fry my fish for about 10 minutes, because I would like them to get nice and golden brown before I took them out. And when I take them out, I put them on a paper towel, a plate with paper towels, to let the grease get some of the grease off of them. And that's how I did mine. And so are you particular about, the temperature of your grease before you drop them in and all that kind of stuff?
So kind of same method, I guess. Don't laugh at me, but you do the spoon method. I did the drop of water method. You got a drop of water on my finger, put it in grease. If it splashes back at you, damn thing is ready.
It's ready, yeah.
In the same way, as far as cooking it, some folks, I guess it varies person to person, but if I pick up the fish and it falls apart, it's not ready yet. It's too soft, like golden brown as well.
Yeah, I like it golden brown. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Wes. I think 350 is the norm when it comes to frying the fish, and maybe a little hotter than that if you're going to grill them. I have grilled some fish, and that turns out pretty good on the grill too, if you know how to do it right.
350 is about right for the grill as well. You don't want too hot because you don't want to sear it per se. You want it to cook pretty evenly, especially your thicker fish like your grouper and wahoo and whatever else.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can cut it short if you want, Peter.
That's up to you. I'm good. I'm
golden. It's 8:40, and our friend Brady hasn't come on here to talk any Abu junk.
I think Wes can come on here and talk some junk. He sure is trying to type it, so I guess I know that mouth is broken of his. Might be a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that with Lori and the death in the family and everything, I think that that's probably why I didn't get on here tonight. Is grouper better than cobia? Close, but
man, it's tough.
I do give the edge to grouper, but cobia is definitely in that same category.
I am actually gonna go the other direction. I think cobia is better. However, different types of grouper taste better. Your three main grouper here, we'll talk about those: scamp grouper, red grouper, and gag grouper. Hands down, no questions asked, scamp grouper is the better eating of the three. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And then, so I prefer scamp grouper over cobia, but then cobia over the other two.
Oh, interesting.
Scamp technically come from a little deeper water, occasionally will roam in shallow where you catch them in 90, 120 foot, maybe a little shallower, give or take. Or you can catch them even deeper than that. But I think it's because they come from deeper waters why they taste so much better.
That makes sense. That's some clean water down there.
Clean current, the whole works, right?
Heck yeah.
If he's moving, that means he's pretty muscular.
I hear the IE tuna's good. Got picks from Pete, but he won't trade for crappy fillets.
No, let me tell you what. I actually had those fish in the freezer, and you can only keep tuna in the freezer for so long. So after about 2 weeks, you no call, no show me. So I had to give away someone else.
You probably
true story, by the way. I had to give away someone else because it was just sitting there for a while, and I had it ready for you, but I ain't heard back since. No,
hey.
In all truth, truth be told, I actually had it ready for you the day that we would have exchanged the plaque that you owed me, and you ended up giving it to someone else, and they delivered it to the house, and so we kind of missed that route there as far as the exchange.
He's got to get women somehow, guys. He probably made a deal with a hot chick, going on a date with him if he gave her some tuna.
Can't take all my secrets, I also had some mahi-mahi for a certain someone, and he no call, no show me too, Newel. Your good buddy there, so I had to give that away also.
All right. Well, hey, did you buy a new reel, or were you just holding some reels at the?
I was just holding some. I did buy some new reels. I absolutely did, but not those.
What did you get?
I got 3 new toriums for clean fishing.
What size?
The 30.
30.
Yeah, so I am up to 6 of those now.
Those are great reels.
Old Speedmasters that need to, I guess, be phased out per se. So might use those for some play reels perhaps, but yeah. So I went all, and I got a hell of a deal on them, by the way. So that one barber shop down there, they actually give very good discounts for those that have a 6-pack license, and they know me pretty well too. So I
like the sound of their bearings.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Well, when you cast them, they got that. It's not. I can't mimic it, but it's
maybe you'll go with me one day and get some video of that actual drag streaming.
It's exclusive to Shimano. Like a guy that I know posted a YouTube video catfishing on the James River yesterday, and he uses toriums, and in the video it shows him cast one, and you can hear it on the mic. And when I fish with Scott, he uses toriums, and when you cast them, like when I'm just sitting there looking at getting my camera stuff ready to make a video with Scott while he's casting the rods out, I can tell which rods he's casting. I can tell, okay, that was the Abu. When he cast the torium, it's got that certain, those bearings are there's some quality bearings in those toriums.
Very well made reel. I've actually put them to the test the last couple of years, and they have taken a licking and keep on ticking.
Hey man, once you go Shimano, you don't go back, man.
I love Shimano. I have for
Shimano is. They are the best. I mean, I will admit they are the best. But I'm an aficionado. I like all the brands. I try to give all the brands some love. And so, some of these lesser known brands like your Fin Nor, Sport Fishers, and your other brands like that. I like to use those too. I mean, the problem with the best is like everybody knows they're the best and everybody uses them, and it's like I don't want to be like everybody else.
Some of the rules are hard to find too. Like if you need some and you see them, you better jump on them because they won't be there long. And now all of a sudden you got to wait 4 to 6 weeks for a new supply to come in.
So you got the torium. So what would be the reel underneath the torium? What do you call it?
I know the Talica is the one above that one.
Above it, yeah. Below it would be the ones that all the striper guys use. Takotas, yeah. So,
I did own Takota once, and it was a decent reel. It was one of the first ones that
they've changed the design on those. They're they're not round anymore. They got like a little weird, like an oblong.
Really? Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but
they're sexy. Yeah. They're sexy. They look good.
I like that color of that the frame of those Shimano.
Dark gray.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a metaflake in it.
So for bottom fishing, I have started to use the new Speedmaster, and that's a badass little reel too. Really good.
Yeah, Wes has one of those.
He has one, and he tried to sell it to me because for some reason he don't like it, or I don't remember why. Wes, maybe.
Well, he'll probably tell you that the a spring come flying out of it, and the lever drag exploded and came off, and the frame warped, and
But it still works. It's still a good reel. Still works, right? But yeah, that is a sweet little bottom reel too. Definitely. Two things I look for with actually one big thing I look for these bottom reels, and one is a lot of drag. And I try to teach Wes that one time that we're out there. I'm like, hey, you got to put that damn hammer down because you try to catch a grouper, he's going to get you in the damn rocks every time the way he fishes. He's new to the game, and I was trying to tell him that you got to lock the drag down because a grouper is going to dang find his way in that hole if he wants to.
If there's one thing that I think, all of your offshore or saltwater fishermen would agree on, and like there's really no, debate on is, when it comes to grouper fishing, is the lockdown drag. Like there's no other, nobody free spools a grouper.
Yeah, definitely not. And the thing that hurts with grouper fishing is if you actually anchor up and you get on a pile of grouper and you get rocked up by one, the bite is over. The end. The others will not bite, and so that kind of hurts.
That's that's weird. That doesn't surprise me though. I never got on them like that. Now I did get rocked.
You're damn right. Yeah.
And, I've gotten rocked before.
It's going to happen no matter what. No matter what you do. When you get rocked, oftentimes I have a buddy that he's notorious for this. Like a lot of the guys that get rocked, like they actually get caught off guard. They're sitting there lounging, get a beer in their hand, getting ready, dang, tilt it back, and all of a sudden, boom, they're
and then
starting to break. It's too late. It's too late for break. Yeah. It's kind of hilarious when that happens too.
It's a heartbreaker.
It is. It really is. And then Goliath says 20 pounder, but in actuality, it might be just a barely keeper 22 incher.
Yeah. So do you have any desire to catch a Goliath?
I have caught a Goliath already. Shit. Yeah, off of Arcos, yeah. But as far as one of the big ones, not really. Not at all.
Yeah. Well, me being a cat fisherman, I would love to catch a giant Goliath grouper.
So I have been visiting Florida a good little bit here, talking to some of the fishermen down there, and they are thinking that there may be a possibility that the Goliaths, the recreational limit, may open up now to a one per boat in the foreseeable future, possibly. So there's going to be a size range between X and X inches, So that's what the thought is right now. Talking about grouper also off our coast, there is a very strong hint that they will probably completely shut it down next year. So, yeah, interesting times for us. It's going to make some folks very mad.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think that it's going to help the fishery though, in the long run?
There is a reason why the fishery is suffering, and it's not because of fishing pressure. It's because of other fish that they're managing incorrectly right now, and that is the red snapper. Do a little Google search on that. You might see a little something about it. Basically, these red snapper have absolutely overtaken some of these reefs. I remember, so the trip that we caught the Kobe very good on back in June. It's the same place where we have absolutely wore out black sea bass and other various bottom fish. And the black sea bass and other various bottom fish we caught out there, I can count on one or two hands, I think, that day. But we probably caught 30 red snapper, various sizes from hand size all the way up to 8 pounds. No monsters, but the fact is they are overrunning some of these reefs out there right now, and they're being managed very poorly. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I never saw red snapper, and now it is literally every trip we're catching dozens. Yesterday we caught 8 or 10, a lot, and now
it seems like it was that way with the black bass not long ago.
The black bass are pretty bad too, but it depends time of year on those really. But these red snapper are really putting a hurting on the fishery, and the thought is that they are definitely hurting the grouper fishery because they are eating the small grouper fry. I actually did catch a one red snapper that we caught yesterday. Looked in his mouth, and he had 3 little baby beeliners in his mouth. Like when I say baby, I'm talking about finger length, small, the eyeball sticking right up at looking at you. One
Wow.
actually fell out of his mouth, and I put it on the hook and dropped it down there and caught one of those big sea bass. So the favor was returned, but yeah, they're actually eating up everything that's moving down there.
Well, hopefully they'll catch on to that and make the necessary changes and regulations to rectify that whole situation.
Yeah, time will tell.
All right, Pete. Well, it's been a good show, and
All right.
I guess we'll see
Just
you
in time
guys.
for my fan shutting down, huh? You hear that?
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching Real Fisherman. Good night, Pete.
See ya.